Oh, I'm gonna watch Black Panther today.
Yo, 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 we are live.
Yeah, actually, we got pretty good views last time apparently when we went
Excuse
live.
excuse me for eating some Mediterranean food, some halal.
Halal? Oh, you getting halal?
Yeah, but it's not like halal in New York. It's not the
It's not
same level.
like what do you mean? Like, what was the
Like,
difference? The difference?
yeah, it's like not that's good.
You know why? Because like I remember I was passing through a halal spot and it said like 50% halal, and I'm like 50%. Isn't it supposed to be like 100% if it's halal? Like I don't think there's in between. That makes no
Yeah,
sense, right? That makes no sense,
yeah,
right?
that makes no sense at all.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
let me actually take a picture of this so we can actually show that we're live, so people can jump in here.
'Cause I asked some of my friends and I asked them like, "Hey, what's up with this like 50% halal? Isn't if it's blessed, or unless like they mix it with unblessed, it becomes like halal and haram, like
Oh yeah,
haram. Yeah, I mean I don't know what the hell. I don't know. I'm just talking. I'm just talking BS while we're live before we get banned off of YouTube.
yeah. But oh shit. Topics for today because I
Let's
don't want to
talk
talk about halal
about
food all day.
Matt Walsh and versus Joe Rogan on gay marriage.
Before we go into that, thoughts about both persons, so we can kind of have a baseline of how we view these guys as individuals. What do you think about Joe Rogan first?
I mean, I think that he's someone he's interested in getting to know other people in different perspectives. I think he's open minded enough, but I think he's also willing to challenge someone when he doesn't agree with him completely. He's also someone that will give you the mic if he doesn't know what the topic is. So I think he's a really I don't know. I think he's a
Not
really
only that, he's probably the king of podcasts, huh?
yeah. That too,
Yeah.
and then
I mean,
mm,
you gotta think with a guy like Joe. If Joe doesn't exist, what we do probably doesn't exist either.
yeah. I mean, a
And
lot of
he,
podcasts started because of him
yeah,
right at
and
the
a lot of
beginning.
like how many podcasts have been birthed just off of the idea that talking to homies is pretty cool and people might be able to like it.
Yeah, well, that's how he started. He's just started just talking to his comedy friends,
Yeah.
like Joe Rogan, his jujitsu friend, the crazy one. He's Asian.
Um, is Asian
Yeah, he loves.
Eddie?
Yeah, Eddie. Yeah, he's a wild boy, man. Eddie's a
Yeah.
wild boy. Uh,
Have you seen Joey's new podcast?
Joy Diaz.
Yeah, he has a new podcast.
Yeah, Joy's joint. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Joey's
check it out. I
yeah
check it out. I
yeah.
like him. I like Joy.
Okay,
Um,
now Matt Walsh. What do you think about Matt Walsh?
I don't know much of him. The only thing I know of him is that he works at a Daily Wire. He's one of the owners, I think. And then
I'm not sure if he's an owner. I know that he definitely works there though.
he did a What Is a Woman, but he's really conservative in that way. Kind of comes out a little bit here.
Yeah, he did the What is a Woman documentary, which if you guys haven't seen, guys should definitely check it out. It's really good, and the entire premise of the documentary, light spoiler, is what is a woman, and in the entire documentary movie, however you guys want to call it, he never once states his own beliefs. He's usually just asking questions, and
Hmm.
the questions are really like messing these people up because they can't keep their logic consistent and not just throw ideology at the situation whenever they put in a corner with their own answers. So, really smart guy. His politics are definitely interesting. I don't think his politics allow for a lot of nuance,
Yeah,
but
it
I
shows here.
I also understand that uh, his point of view or point of views like his are important for people to hear, to understand that there's just another way of looking at the world. And sometimes I believe he's not the best, like just like Andrew Tate. I don't think he's the best at exactly verbalizing what he means to say at the exact moment. But let's go. Let's go. Let's get into the Joe Rogan and Matt Walsh
Oh,
debate about marriage.
let me speed it up as well, real quick. Uh, there we go. Let me know
Don't
if you're
want
hearing it.
to. Are you opposed to them being married? If marriage is only for procreation and to bond a family together, what about people that are deeply in love that never want to have children?
I don't think it's not only procreation, but that is one of the fundamental definitional aspects of it. Of course, there's more to marriage just than that.
And what about people that are infertile? They fall in love and they realize that they can't have babies. They don't really want to adopt. Is that okay for them to be married? Because then you're, by definition, marriage falls into a completely different thing. Because then it's a bond of love.
that doesn't change the nature of marriage, though. It's a little bit like
I'm listening. I'm gonna
what's the definition
tweet
of a
out.
woman? Well, a woman is someone who, by her nature, can conceive children, and her womb bear children. And then the response is always, "What about women who are infertile? Does that destroy your definition of woman?" And it doesn't, because it's still a woman's nature to bear children. Not every woman will, and there will be disease and infertility and old age and all these things that will preclude that. But it's still of her nature to do so. And I would say the same thing for marriage. I mean, it's
send me the link
natural in marriage for procreation to occur. It's not always going to happen in reality, though. But that's still one of the natural functions of marriage. And married couples who can't conceive children, there are other ways to be parents, like adoption, for example,
if they want to. Right, but if people want to be married and don't want to ever have children, are you opposed to them being married?
Well, I wouldn't advocate a law that would prevent it.
But would it change the definition of what their marriage is to you because they don't want to have a family? They just want to have a loving bond?
I think this would be a couple that is rejecting one of the fundamental aspects of marriage, and they should be open to life. I would hope that in the future they would be, but
isn't that just a personal choice? I mean, you can have a very fulfilling life if you just follow your pursuits and your dreams and your interests, and you find someone that shares those interests with you, and you share time together. It's very fulfilling and loving.
Yeah, it's a personal choice, and that I'm not advocating for like a law that says that if you're married, you have to have X number of kids.
But then why are you opposed to two gay people doing that?
Well, because again, it's not about choice. It's about what this institution, marriage is an institution, and what is it, and what purpose does it serve? And I do not agree with tearing down or changing this definition, especially because the people who have changed the definition haven't come up with a new one. So they say, well, that's not what marriage is. So for thousands of years, we said marriage is the procreative union. And then we had the other side came along and said, well, it's not that. Okay, well then, like, what is it exactly? And I know you said, well, it's people who love each other. Two people love each other. Well, but then why two people? Why do they have to love each other? All these kinds of questions. You get into what if they're in the same family? What if brothers and sisters want to marry? And I know every time that comes up, the advocates for gay marriage will say, well, that's a slippery slope argument. That's a fallacious. But it's actually not. It's like we're trying to get to what do you even think this institution is now, since you've rejected out what we were saying it was. And I've never found a compelling definition. And any definition offered, it's like, well, what's even the point then? Why do we even need this now?
I just don't see how a gay marriage in any way damages a straight marriage. I don't see it at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. It just seems to me that people want to be. Look, if you wanted to look at logic, especially in our modern society, which is pretty fucked when it comes to relationships.
Well, I don't think. Where did he say that gay marriage is a problem? It causes damage towards straight marriages. He never says that.
No, because
but right here, what Joe is doing is he's jumping logic hurdles to almost place that kind of thought process onto Matt Walsh to defend, because he never makes that statement.
No, he never makes it. To me, when I first watched this, to me it sounded like for Matt, marriage is a lot more than just two people that love each other. Marriage has a purpose. Mm-hmm. So it's procreating, building a community, having a community for the next generation. So for Matt, the way it sounds to me is that you cannot have marriage between two gay people because it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but when does he say that two gay people shouldn't get married?
I don't think he ever says it in the whole
thing. He never. So okay, we'll continue the video, yeah. But it sounds like a point is being attacked that was never even stated, and even though Matt might believe it, he's defending his point of view. Like, he's not prepared to even defend it. He never made the statement in the first place. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, but I think Joe's trying to get at, like, okay, but like, well, why did you disagree with it at the end of the day? Like, give me a reason why you disagree with two people. What is your problem with it? And I think that Matt is just not telling him what his problem. Oh, I mean, I guess he's saying there's more to marriage than just two people that love each other. And since two straight people can't say that, so I guess he's leaving Joe to make his own conclusions because he's not being direct. That's what it sounds
like. Continue the video.
We have a stalker in the comment section, by the way.
No, do we?
Yeah. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 50% of all.
We have a stalker in the comment section.
They don't make it.
Interesting.
Well, I don't know if anything would damage marriage and damage the institution of marriage is the option of divorce. I don't think gay people getting married in any way, shape, or form changes a bond that you have with your wife. It's just called marriage. It's a human invented thing. If we decide that gay people can get married too, I just don't see how it damages anything. I don't think it tears down the definition of marriage in any way. It just opens up the possibility that people who are gay won't be discriminated against.
Yeah, I don't think that a gay couple existing
he's wrong. Pause.
Directly impact.
Pause. What he means to say, or not what he means to say. He's wrong in the fact that he's stating that doesn't like marriage. That means marriage. The definition of marriage has changed at that point. At that point, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because it has changed.
But that's not what he's saying. He's saying like he's stating like it damages it. But for I think this is the point that Matt Walsh is going to make is that marriage traditionally has been you choose a life partner,
Okay.
right? And with choosing a life partner, the reason why you choose a life partner is because not only will they be good for you, they'll be good for the kids that you guys bear, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you get married, and that's why you choose this person so you guys can have kids. Because if there was nothing else, it's just like anything else, it would fade. There'll be no point in getting married, no point in getting married, and then there things without right? I don't think there's an issue with gay people getting married like that. That's but you have to change. You kind of have to change the definition of it. You just okay. So marriage is just a legal document that binds two people instead of it's a mechanism used to keep two people together and for them to have children. You have to change what marriage is. It's basically a legal relationship.
Yeah, because even like
point.
even the reason why people got married changed a lot. I mean, people now get married because of love. That wasn't the case back then. Like there used to be a time where people got married to like unite families, build a community. It was a lot more interest, but now, love was the last thing. Now, kind of love is the first thing, and maybe that could be why there's so many divorces. But that's a different topic. So I'm just gonna continue.
There's a gay couple and wherever, and I'm with my wife in our house. Like obviously, there's not. But I'm not talking about on the individual level. I'm talking about on the societal level.
Right.
I would agree that divorce, especially this no-fault divorce, rampant divorce. I don't think it's as high as 50%. I know that's often quoted. I'm not sure where that comes from, but it is high. It's too high. And
Chris Rock has a great joke about that. He said those are just the people with the courage to get out. It's like how many cowards stay.
But it's also true that the advocates for what we call now traditional marriage, which I just call marriage, but the advocates for traditional marriage put themselves at a disadvantage by especially in the churches, like allowing this rampant divorce to occur. And then you've already sort of given up on some marriage is supposed to be monogamous and permanent as well as procreative. Well, you've given up monogamy and permanence, and so now it's not. That's two of the three legs gone, and so now this assault was waged on the procreative part of it, and it was difficult to withstand it because the institution had already been weakened. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. When I said that Matt believes that marriage has more of a purpose than just two people that love each other. Like he's adding procreation and all the things that he's adding. So like for him, it's like, well, if the main reasons why people should get married are not there, then why are you even getting married when there's no point to getting married? But again, I guess he's not like telling Joe a definitive reason why two.
Well, okay, and it's not to say that I disagree with either party, right? But it's like, okay, for example, what is sex meant for?
Procreation.
Exactly. Right, but if you just argue the point that sex is there to
well, I guess it's also for pleasure too.
It's also people use it for pleasure. You can also say that people use it with people they're in love with, and stuff like that. But the reason why sex exists, and granted, it's not a human construct like marriage, is definitely for one thing. It's procreation. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of similar to marriage. I mean, marriages existed to bond things and to mend things that exist, like families, feuding families, or political power, or just advancing your status in society. This is a more useful tool than just, I guess you can say, love. But I think rightfully so, because you need to have kids.
Yeah, but I think that's where his argument is kind of failing off for me personally. Because okay, let's just use your example, sex, right? Because from his logic, it's like, well, if you're not going to procreate, then why have sex? And he's not taking into consideration that people have sex for other reasons apart from the reasons that he believes you should have sex for. Or
yeah, but to counter that point, sex exists for that. And yes, people have derived their own meaning for sex. Like people are deriving their own meaning for marriage now, but it exists specifically for one thing. If you use it for other things, obviously, you can use whatever you want. But I think this is two different arguments. I think Joe is arguing choice, I think Matt is arguing utility and what it actually is.
Yeah, but again, like yes, like sex, the main purpose of sex is procreation.
Mm-hmm.
But Matt is basically saying, if you're not procreating, why have sex?
Mm-hmm.
When it's like, well, yes, but people have sex just because they're not doing it. They're not having sex for the intended purpose doesn't mean that maybe it doesn't feel good or they want to have another reason or change the meaning for it, which I guess this is where he's getting at. Like, we need to define it. But I guess there's multiple reasons why you will marry somebody, right? I mean, it could be for love. It could be just because you want to unite your families. It could be because you care about the person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that for Matt, for some reason, I don't know, like for me, his argument is falling off because of that reason. Because marriage has meaning for him, and it's because X, Y, and Z. And if people are not doing X, Y, and Z, then they shouldn't be married. That's how it sounds to me.
I hear what you're saying, and I don't think that's not what he's. I do think I agree with you to a point that is what he's saying, and that's why I'm saying that I think that he's not formulating his points.
Yeah,
hard enough. Like, I mean, I don't want to bring up abortion into this conversation because then this conversation just becomes wild, right? But you could understand like with sex, or let's go even drugs. It's like if you take it into abundance without a payoff, if you do anything without a reason to do it, just for the sake of doing it, like for something as benign as, let's say, pleasure. Let's say you pursue sex in just a benign way of pleasure and not to deepen the relationship you have with the person. Sex slowly becomes more and more meaningless. So if you got married just because of love, love wanes. It goes up and down. It's not just a straight arrow, straight up. That's not how love works. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you get it, the meaningfulness of your marriage while you're married will go up and down, to a point where you might feel at a point the marriage is pointless if there's not something to push it forward. Like, not just the love between each other might not just be enough. The love you might have for a kid. I mean, that's why couples, when they first get together, they usually get like a dog or a pet together, because now there's not just them loving each other that's tying them together. It's their love towards something else and a common goal for the something else that binds them even more deeply, right? It's again with sex. I mean, sex with. I mean, we've both been in relationships where we have sex. We've both been out of relationships when we have sex. And me personally, I speak for myself. Sex in a relationship is obviously much more better than sex with an abundance of people.
So I guess what we're talking about is purpose, right?
Not just purpose. Yeah, it's just purpose, but it's not just purpose. I mean, I guess it's mostly just purpose. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I was just gonna say that I guess just to add to your point, right? A marriage that is just based on love, and just that, it doesn't have an end goal, it doesn't have a purpose. We are together because we want to create life. We are together for our families, right? Because it used to be a time where you will meet the father of your girl, and he will meet your father and your mother and the community, and they will both unite. So there's a purpose to staying together to build a home for your child that's coming up. So nowadays there isn't that. Right? Nowadays people don't even meet each other's families for like years.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that could lead to divorce or people just separating because there's no purpose, there's no reason anymore.
And that's also another thing that would bind someone. Your love for the person's family would also help bind you to the person that you're with.
Responsibility, and just shout out to Andrew Tate, Tutti. You gotta have Tutti.
What the fuck is
Tutti
Tutti?
in honor. Tutti.
Oh, duty.
No,
Tutti.
No, he says it like that.
Bugatti.
Tutti. You have a duty. All right, let's continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
But my answer to that is to try to reinforce what marriage is, not to just give up on it entirely. And I still think you're left with this question of, like, if marriage is not what I'm saying it is, then why do we even need it? What's the point? I mean, you're saying it's a man-made institution.
Yes.
But you're also, like, the way you're presenting it, it's also a totally meaningless institution.
No,
they don't need it at all.
No, it's not meaningless. It's because it means something to the people that get married.
So it's just a subjective, symbolic thing. I mean, what?
Yeah.
So if you're
kind of what it is, look, there's a massive responsibility when you're married and when you have children to keep your family together and you raise and keep everybody happy and healthy. And there's great reward to that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work out. it's people change. People are fucked up. It doesn't always work. And so I don't think it should be outlawed because 50% of the people fall apart. Just like I don't think it has any effect whatsoever on a straight couple.
Okay, pause again. He's making jumps in logic. I know that people are against. I know it's right now. The whole argument is really against Matt Walsh, but Joe is making jumps in logic to make Matt sound like he's not making a good point. He just brought up outlawing it. Matt never mentions outlawing it. He just said he want to create a law to outlaw it. Like this, that's not something he's against.
He's countering arguments that are not being made yet.
Yes, that's one of my main points. And he's stating that it's a subjective thing, but it still means something for people to go get it. I mean,
I just think that Matt is just not. We added purpose to it. I wonder if he would have brought up there's no purpose to marriage, but I guess Joe would counter with the purpose is two people loving each other. Yeah, but that's not enough.
That's not enough.
Yeah, that's not enough to keep people, as we seen with the divorce rates, right?
That's not enough.
Yeah, that's not enough. Yeah, I just think that Matt is missing something when he's arguing. Let me continue.
I think I have a decent example. All right, and I might even butcher this example. It is not enough for your parents just to love you. It's not. Yeah. They must also feel responsible towards you, so that you can feel as if they love you, and you can reciprocate. You can reciprocate the respect and the love back towards them.
Yeah,
they have to feel. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just not enough for someone to say "I love you."
Love is not enough. People do state that the love is everything, but it's not enough. It's not.
Your actions speak sometimes louder than any words that you say. So, I don't know if you want to continue. I get Matt's point. Now I'm understanding a little bit more.
But he's not even. I'm not even hearing his argument. He's like he's asking. Yeah, he's asking questions. Really, he's not really. He hasn't really made a solid point.
He hasn't connected his points. I think that's his problem. He's
but
just kind of like.
What point? What did he say that? What point did he make?
I think he didn't make any points. I think the point that he's trying to make is that there's purpose to marriage, but he hasn't made that point, right? Because he says that, because people get married because of, procreation and community. And I added community. So I'm kind of making his point for him now.
Yeah.
But, I kind of understand what he's trying to get at.
Yeah.
It's that he's not making it. And then
but I also feel like he's not making a point because Joe is making illogical leaps in the argument. And in using he's strawmanning anything that Matt Walsh says. I
think because he's just trying to find something. It's like, okay, like what are you saying? Are you saying this? Are you saying that? Like, what are you saying? And I don't think Matt is. I think Matt is like a defensive in this whole thing.
Yeah.
But,
all right. I think we can move on. I mean, I'll end it off, or at least that conversation with love isn't enough. And an imaginary thing, if marriage is imaginary, then that won't be enough either.
Yeah. Just like I told you to don't go to Texas with that Mexican.
Oh my God.
Not enough.
Hey, you guys, if you guys this far into the video, like, subscribe, share. Sharing the video will really help us grow. On our way to 100. We got about like a month to hit that. We can do it.
Let's go to the top G. Top G is about to fight the other one. I forgot. Jake Paul apparently.
Jake Paul, yeah.
Yeah,
well, they had a stare down, but nothing's been like announced.
Official?
Yeah,
it's probably gonna happen eventually. I'm not gonna watch it because it's not like I care that much. But I know that.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm actually gonna watch it. I think this is the first time Jake's fighting someone that I want Jake to lose against.
Oh, you think the top G? I don't think that top G.
No, I don't think he could beat him. I don't think. What's his name?
Andrew Tate.
I don't think he could beat him. But I want him to win.
Yeah, man, shout out to the top G, man. You saw that comment section is wild, man. Shout out to the top G. That's a lot of people on his side.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So shout out to the top G and Patrick Bet David. 3 high value men are having a discussion. I already fast forward to the part that we want to react to. We're gonna probably
you have it sped up already. The video.
It's all sped up. Let me just triple check it. Oh, it's not sped up. Now sped up. That's why you're here. Okay, so I got to the part that we want us to discuss, and then I also wrote down some of the things that they said that I wanted to discuss. Instead of us just watching the whole video, we can just have the discussion. So, all right.
Hey, you think we can Andrew Tate on our platform?
I mean, he does videos with this kid.
He does videos with anybody. He does a podcast a week.
Podcast a week. He was talking to this guy. He's a YouTuber. He plays Call of Duty, I think it is, Fortnite. I forgot. He was like going off because apparently the kid is telling him like, yo, I broke up with my girl, and he's like, you broke up with your girl? And no, they were like, oh, we ended mutually. It's like, ended mutually, fucking pussy. Ended mutually. It's like. And it's like, oh yeah, my girl started an OnlyFans. It's like, oh, so you think your girl just broke up with you and randomly out of nowhere?
Hey, bro, we should shoot him an email. Imagine if he responds.
You think so? The top G was like, "What's up? What's up?"
Yeah, that'd be pretty
top
cool.
G. I would like to talk to him. He's a
I
wild
like to talk to him. Yeah,
It's a wild
like
boy.
that
guy.
Let's see this video.
Are we gonna get canceled if we talk about him?
I don't think so.
Why would we?
This argument. Instagram doesn't defend what he stands for. Okay, TikTok doesn't support what he talks about. Okay, YouTube doesn't defend and stand what he stands for. The core foundation of those companies is very different than the core foundation of what he has towards women because they're more feminist. They're more men are, making men weaker, all that stuff. But if these things are getting this many eyeballs, maybe what it's saying is the market is sitting around saying, dude, we've been waiting for this for a while, man. Like, the market wants to kind of have somebody talk. It doesn't mean it's true or not. But hey, maybe it's what we're thinking about. Maybe it's what a lot of people are thinking about. And that makes some people uncomfortable to say, no, like the other day, the one of my kids, they were watching a movie without my permission. And there was a scene in it. And my 8-year-old, my 10-year-old, we had to have the conversation.
By the way, it's not our audio, it's their audio. They were having like some problems when I was watching the podcast. Like it comes in and out. So
I was about to say, I just saw like crazy echo.
Yeah, it's not us.
About, gays, lesbians, all this other stuff. I kind of shared with you how I had a conversation with them. When the moment I had this conversation, Jen walked out. She's like, babe, you like to have these types of thoughts. I don't want to have these. I sat down and I gave them every possible visual they could get. So this is what's going on. And in many cases, people who are not teaching this because the father figure's not in it, we have to have this talk. You know what's crazy? As much as I did not want to have that conversation at that point, I love the fact that I was forced to have it because I'm able to get ahead of it. So I can control the point of contact and say, here's boys, what you're going to be facing. A boy's going to come to you and tell you this. This is going to be happening. When it does, this is what we do as a David family. So going back to you, if the algorithms are favoring a person who they don't support his arguments, because most of these virtual governments are more feminist, left, all that stuff, why do you think your messaging got so viral?
Well, this is the interesting thing, because I didn't put a magic spell in the world. I'm not a magician. You're right. There's obviously a market for what I say. People talk about how I became the most viral person on the planet. I'll argue the point. Not only did I become the most viral person on the planet, I did it while being heavily shadow banned. They've known about me for a while. They've been trying to shut me up for a while. I've been shadow banned forever. So I became the most viral person on the planet with all the algorithms working against me. Unlike people like Logan who have all the algorithms working for them, against me. Because I'm resonating with people who are sitting there going, finally, this makes sense to me. This is how I feel inside. And this guy's finally talking about it. Everything else I consume is telling me to do things that just don't resonate with my truth. I'm only saying things that people agree with. So to chop my head off and try to delete me is asinine in and of itself, because there are billions of people out there, millions of people out there who feel the exact same way. This is what I was saying earlier, because, and once again, I'm assuming the social media companies have intellect and people who work for them who are intelligent. If they were smart, if I was a social media company, I would have come to me and said, listen, I would have had a board meeting and said, controlled opposition. And I would have come to me and said, Andrew, you have to correct your message. We don't want to delete you. We don't want to censor you. You have to say this way today. And slowly perhaps taper me down on certain subjects. That would have been smart.
You think they would come to you and say, listen, they've been following you, buddy.
And I would also talk to them and say, listen, I understand I'm now the most viral person on the planet. I take responsibility for the things I say. The way I say things for a video that gets 300 views is different than the way I say things for a video that gets 3 million views. I respect that. Let's have a conversation. I'm not a loose cannon. I'm a logical actor. They could have done that, but they were emotional. Instead, they martyred me and chopped my head off. But that doesn't change anything, because there's millions and millions and millions of young men who think the same way I think. There are millions of young men out there who don't want to wear makeup, who don't want to put on a Pokemon suit and be a clown like Logan Paul, who don't want to take transgender blocking drugs, who don't want to assign themselves to any kind of feminist ideas, who don't want to chop their dick off, who just want to grow up, go to the gym, get strong, be respected, make money, have a beautiful girl in a sports car. There's millions of men who want that. And I speak to those men. And
most men want that.
And they think.
Okay. So let me just summarize real quick what we're talking about. One, Patrick often just says Welcher. I don't know. He's talking about like social media stuff, like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. He calls them I forgot what the hell he calls them, like virtual governments. That's what he calls them.
Virtual governments.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. So they're talking about how in social media is pushing a certain message. That message being be more feminine for men. It's okay to be weak as a man. It's okay to cry as a man. I don't know, a lot of like feminist stuff and ideas. And this is what Andrew Tate was discussing, where he's just saying like he's the message that he's saying: go to the gym, work on yourself, be the best man that you can be, yada yada yada. You said that Andrew said something you didn't like. You didn't like when
the truth. I hate when people say truth. Their truth, my truth.
Oh, that's true.
I hate that shit.
Why do you hate that? Before we get into it,
because I just hate Hey, people just hide behind the word truth as if it's like an impervious shield. You ever heard someone say, "I'm just gonna speak my truth"? Shut the fuck up. Your truth. You own it. You own the truth, or you're just gonna tell your side of the story
or your opinion.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
I guess it makes
and,
him sound like
and it's not a point against Andrew himself. I'm saying this against people who just speak that way. You ever go? Charlemagne the God speaks that way. I fucking hate that shit.
My truth.
My truth. I'm just gonna speak my truth and live within my truth. What the fuck are you saying? What does that even mean?
I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
It's just
I got you. All right, Sam. Tell me your truth about what we just saw.
Oh my god.
What's up?
I mean, right now I'm just going along for the ride. I agree with everything that's going on so far.
Okay, let me just continue for a little bit more, and then I'll give you some points so we can get to the juicy parts. Oh shit. Let's go.
Like chopping my head off, those men are going to want something else because they'll get rid of me and they'll put James Charles in front of them and say, no, foundation reviews. It ain't going to work. They don't want foundation reviews. It's not what they want. And it's truly crazy. They think that's going to work in and of itself at all.
You don't think it's going to work?
I think I've proven that it's not going to work. What's actually the most upsetting is this. I find it extremely hypocritical. And of all the things in the world, my pet peeves, the things that annoy me most are hypocrites. I find it extremely hypocritical that the system itself pretends it gives a shit about men's mental health. It will sit there and pretend it cares about all the men out there who are depressed, struggling, sad. But when I come along and tell them the only way I've ever found personally to be happy and contented, because I can only talk my personal story, is to become a man of status, to become successful, to go through pain, to use my trauma, to use the bad things that happened to me, galvanize myself against attack from the matrix, as I've just proven I can easily weather. When I talk about men's mental health, they delete me. I thought you gave a shit about men's mental health. I'm the most popular man on the planet, and 90% of my content is not about women. It's motivational and antidepressive. And you're going to sit here and delete me saying I'm bad for women. What about men? I thought you gave a shit. All of a sudden, you don't give a fuck anymore, right? Just delete him. Who cares? I had a man message me. A man emailed me saying he was going to kill himself. I get about 10,000 emails a week. I don't answer all of them, but I answer some of them. This guy, his email was so short that I believed him. Subject was, I'm going to kill myself. And the thing is, I know you won't reply. I'm going to kill myself. I don't know what. That was. And I sat there and said, listen, my friend, I get a lot of emails. I don't know how serious you are. I want you to make me a promise. I'm going to guess that you're not in the best physical condition you could be in. I want you to make me a promise. You're going to get six-pack first and send me a picture of you with a six-pack. If you still feel like killing yourself after that, I don't know you. I can't tell you what to do. But I want you to get six-pack first. Email me back and start going back and forth. I convinced him to get the gym and say, get six-pack, see how you feel. If you still feel like killing yourself, then I'm not telling you to kill yourself. I'm telling you that's what I would recommend. Start training. By the time he started sending me physique updates, I'm in a better condition. He started sending me huge emails of apology and thank you, saying you saved my life. I can't believe I was thinking of killing myself. You can't believe he changed. If that man would have emailed Logan Paul, would Logan Paul have given a fuck? Would have ignored it? You think he answers a single fucking email? He doesn't give a shit. All these fucking media figures, all these people who are good for the system, who are dancing on the devil and fucking sitting here talking about dangerous rhetoric and all the other bullshit. You think they fucking answer?
Yeah, dancing on the devil. He's referring to
Lil Nas X, yeah.
Email, they don't give a solitary fuck about the young men of the world. They would have left that man to die. And even if they would reply to him, what advice would they give? Go take antidepressants and watch my YouTube. They have no value to give a guy because they've never had a life of actual genuine struggle. I'm out here genuinely saving lives, genuinely saying to men, the world you now live in is so competitive that if you're not a competitive male, you're going to be perma-depressed. You don't have a mental disease. You're just in a competitive environment and you are losing. You need to become a competitive person. There's no easy way. It's going to be hard. It's going to suck. But if you get to Top G, the name, if you get there, it's a life worth living. That's what I'm saying. And then millions of young men are going, wow, he's showing that you can be born from nothing, single parent on a fucking council estate in the worst town in England, be stabbed, come from nothing, and survive and end up with a multimillionaire. Maybe I can do it if I work hard and I'm diligent and I try hard and I'm really giving hope to the world. And then they delete me. Then they put up a new thing about men's mental health, saying which pill they should take. And then they put James Charles in front of them on the algorithm.
All right. So what do you think? You think that's true? You think that the algorithm, you think the powers that be, virtual governments are pushing men a certain direction, meaning the James Charles of the world to be kind of weaker? That's the point. Do you think they're pushing men to be weaker? They want men to be weaker?
I think
so.
I think there's an effort that exists to make the differences between men and women virtually non-alike. Like I spoke about this yesterday with a buddy of mine, and I was saying that, let's go with abortion as an example, right? To me, one of the main thrusts of why abortion became so popular is because men can virtually have sex with no consequences. And even if a child is a consequence, the child rearing part of it places no burden on men.
Mm-hmm.
So logically, since women have decided that careers have become more important, or status in life has become more important, because that's what apparently men have been doing for generations, Now it's like, well, it's kind of unfair. This biological disadvantage isn't cool. So let's get rid of this biological disadvantage so men and women can virtually become closer and closer and closer and closer into basically one hermaphroditic being or whatever. I think that there are some individuals within these social media platforms that do believe that, and they can push this agenda out into the world. I don't think all social media people believe that. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't because check it out. I was reading an article that suggested that a lot of mental health diseases start to appear in people that live in dense environments. Well, the analogy was that animals like dogs, cats in the wild, like in seclusion, like away from everything else, because often people have LGBTQ activists have claimed that dogs sometimes have gay tendencies, and they'll try to have sex with another male dog. And I always thought that I was okay. That's maybe this is a natural thing that happens, right? But the article seemed to suggest that only happens in dense environments. If you were to put a dog in a natural environment away from a dense population of anything, it would do what it naturally was born to do. We'll try to find a mate, try to get that mate pregnant, and they would raise a thing. If another alpha male came, they would take, whatever. That's what naturally would happen. That's kind of what naturally happens in every kind of animal group. And they also did it with they compared it with humans. The places with the most mental illness and whatnot are places with dense populations.
So like cities.
Like cities.
Big cities?
Like big cities. So if you go to a rural area, the chances of you running into someone with mental disability is a lot less likely. And I'm not sure if it's just because there's less people in general, but it seems to suggest that when people are away from each other, they kind of fall in line with what their body biologically wants them to do.
Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, you can go. Go.
No, go ahead.
You ever seen a show called it's a show called Survival Island or something like that. Basically, you drop people on an island and they're supposed to like figure it out. Kevin Samuels just talked about this a lot. So they did an experiment where they dropped men in one side of the island and they dropped like women one side of the island. And the men immediately they found a hierarchy, right? Okay, who's good at what? Who's good at leading? Who's good at hunting? Who's good at blah 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 blah. Like they immediately were settling themselves and stuff like that. The women just were freaking out and they were trying to like be equals to one another, like trying to be like and stuff like that. So usually that's what happens. Usually when everything hits the fan, all this equality, and I think we have talked about this, that disappears, and we kind of just get in rank, we get in line, right? But I also just want to add that I think that's kind of true. Like I think that what he's saying is true in the sense that the qualities that make a man are usually just you are put down, right? Is the qualities of being competitive, decisive, I guess you could say like competitive, decisive, the leader. Usually those things are put down as a man. Yeah. Like if you're that, check it out. If you're a woman, like that's encouraged, right? If a woman is more dominant, that's encouraged, right? Like male qualities on a woman is encouraged. Male qualities on a man is discouraged.
Yeah, but I see. But here's the thing, and this is where the whole manosphere thing kind of collapses upon itself. Is that Andrew made it to where he made it, and happy for him. Everyone can't get there, and on your way to victory, people, they have to get stomped on, and with men especially. I mean, there's less men on top and more men at the bottom, and all the men at the bottom, they die, they get sick, all these things that have to happen to them for those men on top to continue to exist, right? So I guess the natural argument would be if you even out the playing field enough at the bottom, then people can live, I guess, better qualities of life. I would imagine that's what social media platforms are thinking. Whereas like, well, if we make men and women closer as people, then their need to compete amongst each other decreases. So the quality of life increases since everyone's working together as a unit, while the people on top have to compete to stay on top, regardless.
But to his point, I think that's what he's talking about when he's saying that people don't care, because suicide amongst men is the highest, but it's not as discussed. It's like the whole the famous clip that Jordan Peterson had with the feminist, and she was like, "Well, this is a male-dominated society," and he was like,
which way is it male dominant?
Yeah, most men work the most dangerous jobs. Most men commit the highest rate of suicide, right? They do all these things, but none of that is brought to attention. So then you have all of these men who are out there in society who feel ostracized, right? They're called incels for having a certain point of view, right? And then they rally behind someone like Andrew Tate because they see the quote unquote message that is given out, right? If you're a man and you're decisive, if you're strong, right? All of those qualities are made fun of by even some TikToks. And I know TikToks is whatever, but I see some TikToks of other men making fun of other men for working out. You have H3 and H3 is talking about like, oh, why would you ever work out, right? Why would you ever want to do this? So there's there's men out there who are definitely feeling unheard, who follow Andrew Tate because of that, because of the message that is being sent. I don't know if you know this, but Andrew Tate went to Rumble. Yeah, and I think he's more famous over there than he's on YouTube. I think we talked about this.
I'm not sure if he's more famous than he was on YouTube.
I mean, he's getting like. He talked about he was getting like 3,000 views when he was on live on YouTube, and now he's getting like 20K
live viewers.
That
doesn't account for how many views he's getting per video altogether.
Oh well, I don't know how Rumble works. That's what he says. I'm just saying that.
But we have to get on Rumble too. We need to find a way to get live on everything at the same time.
On Rumble, I'm very sure.
Not just Rumble, like live on this, Instagram,
and Rumble,
at the same time. But to figure that out.
I didn't know Rumble existed until he talked about it. I was like,
oh, you know about Rumble?
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I don't know. Yeah, there's that. But let me ask you something. What do you think about stoicism before we leave?
Stoicism?
Let's go real quick.
The idea of stoicism is to basically just control what you can control and don't waste energy on things that you can't control.
Yeah.
I think pragmatically, it's definitely useful. I think stoicism is not useful in a family environment at all.
Family environment, like what? Give me an example. What do you mean?
You have children. Stoicism probably wouldn't really help you that much, because you wouldn't be really. I don't think, and maybe I could be wrong. I don't think the mechanism within stoicism would help you keep the relationships that you have at peak performance, right? Because I mean, maybe it can. Maybe if that's the focus, maybe if that's what you're focusing on, but it would also feel robotic, wouldn't it? So there's a sense of stoicism that feels robotic in nature.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfeeling.
Definitely. Especially, I have been called what is it, like, I don't know, like I'm a little bit like heartless, because but it's not. So I understand with your partner, definitely stoicism wouldn't be the best option, because they will feel like you don't care. But I have definitely been in situations recently where I feel like stoicism has helped me, because I'm not, my partner's kind of freaking out, and I'm like, like I'll take care of it. Just shut up.
Yeah, just relax.
Just relax. I'll take care of it. I brought it up because he brought it up, and he was talking about how men are being taught to be more emotional, and stoicism should be taught more often to men. It just works more with men.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on it. I practice it. I try to control what I can.
I think stoicism works in like for work. I think stoicism works amazingly. Yeah. I think stoicism works in competitive environments as well. Like you don't get super attached to any losses that you have in competition, but you can solely focus on gains. I think stoicism works in finance with money. Anything with money, it works really well. But that's what I'm saying. It's more of a tool. It's more of a tool to get better at specific things
or handle stress.
Yeah, and I guess it could be there to handle stress. But I feel like once the stoicism is broken inside your brain, then you fucking you're
you freak
lost. You're lost.
Yeah, I use it more to focus when I have a lot of things on my mind that I have to accomplish. I'm like, all right, what can I control? And then it helps me kind of ease
Yeah.
into things. But definitely, I know what your point is. Like when it comes to relationships, either with your brother or like sister, or your
I do think stoicism is look. I have a book about stoicism. Marcus Aurelius' book.
Yep.
But I definitely think it's over looked at, like as if it's this great mechanism that can conquer the world. It's definitely a useful tool, but I think you also need. I think stoicism. If you're extremely stoic with no charisma, I think that you be lacking heavily in how you can approach life, right? I think if someone was like 50% stoic and 50% charisma, I would even say if you were 70% charisma and 30% stoicism, then your life would be fucking great.
Yeah, or even know when to properly use it.
Yeah,
definitely there are situations at work, when things get hectic, where stoicism needs to come in, but your charisma comes in where you're dealing with other people, and you kind of have to like not be stoic, because stoic comes off as like
I was gonna say, because often in life charisma will get you. Often in life, I've noticed charisma will get you further than straight prowess, right? I've been in situations where I probably should have gotten in trouble 1,000 times over. I've seen people get in trouble for a lot less than I did.
Yes,
but
I've been there, man.
And I've been able to speak to a person in a type of way that, likable. I was like very likable to the person, and it helped me get away with so many things. And if anything, it helped me advance quicker. I mean, even let's go with the first job I worked with, I don't want to say the name of it, but the first place me and you started working with each other at, right? Like I became a trainer there in under a week. I was there for a week, and I was promoted to trainer immediately. And that just came off of the back of me just talking to everyone that was there. There was only really like one person that disliked me, but everyone else there was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I didn't like you at all. You say I don't fucking like
you.
Shit.
Shit.
No, but the example that I would give is that, like, especially in my second job, I've been late quite a bit. Like, I should have been fired.
Yeah.
But there are times that I'm just late because the other job and traffic and all that stuff. That's what I use with stoicism, where I'm like, all right, you cannot warp time in reality. You're not gonna be there in 2 minutes. So just come your ass. Just what can you control is just where you can move your car and how far you can, and maybe the shortcuts you take, whatever that's you can control. And then when I get to the job, it's where my charisma comes in. It's like, hey, what up? What's up, everybody? What's up? I'm here. I love you. Whatever. You know me.
Yeah.
I just make fun of everybody, and then kind of like whatever, Jose. Fuck off. So I got him to use it. All right. I gotta run. I'm gonna go see Black Panther.
Yeah, do your thing. Let me know how Black Panther goes. Actually, we could probably talk about it tomorrow. Baby, want to see Black Panther tomorrow?
Black Panther.
Okay, we'll go see it tomorrow. So yeah,
she'll like it. There's a Mexican there.
What did you say?
She said you like it. There's a Mexican there, but
why she said it like that?
Nothing. She's half asleep. Babe.
Yeah.
All right. But guys, if you made it to this far, make sure you like, subscribe, share. Sharing would definitely make the algorithm really appreciate us. Liking definitely makes everything work out for us as well. And subscribing. That really helps. Comments on subjects that we can talk about next time would really fucking work as well. What is this guy doing? He's doing sign language?
Yeah, this is I love you.
Bye guys.
My little sister knows sign language. So I started learning it. Yeah.
Bye guys.
Take care, guys.